Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Roberts. Tonight, tragedy in Pond Inlet. The coroner's office is investigating 3 deaths in the Nunavut community. The government of Nunavut can't confirm specifics at this time, but it says it's providing support on the ground. That includes mental health staff and search and rescue teams to help with supervision and community safety. Verna Strickland is the relative of one teenage boy who died on Sunday. She says the family is still shaken by their loss.
Trying to cope by keeping busy and trying not to think too much of it, because otherwise, if we don't do that, it's just gonna be more stressful. So we're coping the best we can. And we're very, very fortunate to have a very supportive um, surrounding.
There's help if you need it in English and Inuktitut. You can call the Kamatsiaktut helpline, the Embrace Life Council, or the Kids Help Phone. All of those numbers are on your screen right now. And for the Kids Help Phone, you can also text TALK to 686868. RCMP say one person has been arrested after an incident near downtown Yellowknife on Friday afternoon. RCMP responded to a report of a man posing a threat at the temporary day shelter on 49th Street. The suspect then relocated to a residential building in the Gitzel Street area. Corporal Gavin Lehman told CBC at the scene that a person was armed. The investigation is ongoing and charges are pending. RCMP have arrested 4 men connected to a recent assault in Cambridge Bay, Nunavut. 3 of the men are charged with aggravated assault, forcible confinement, firearm possession, robbery with a firearm, and drug trafficking. The arrest comes as a rise in drug-related crimes has people in the community concerned. Many have gone on Facebook to call on leaders to address the issue. The community's mayor says much of the drug activity is coming from outside of Cambridge Bay.
What we've been finding is that there's been an influx of people that are not from the community that have been bringing in different things. And so the people who are here and do live here that are supporting them, those are the people that we would definitely like to send the message out that we do not need this in our community, we don't need this in the territory, and do not bring it here.
Community members have suggested measures to keep drugs out. Those include tighter security in places like the Yellowknife Airport and introducing drug-sniffing dogs. The hamlet will be holding a town hall on Monday evening to address the concerns. Quebec's police watchdog has finished its investigation into a fatal police shooting in Nunavut, but the outcome won't be known for a while. The BEI was looking into a shooting in Saluit in November. Joshua Papigatuk died in the incident, and his brother, Garnet Papigatuk, was seriously injured. The BEI says it submitted its report to the Director of Criminal and Penal Prosecutions, or the DPCP, and it won't disclose further information. The DPCP says it's analyzing the report to determine whether any criminal charges will be laid. The Yukon Medical Association is urging the new premier to address the territory's healthcare crisis. Negotiations have been underway between the Yukon Medical Association and the territory on how to improve healthcare. The president of the association says negotiations aren't progressing fast enough, and access to healthcare is worse in the Yukon compared to other jurisdictions. He says 10,000 Yukoners are without regular primary care access, but this can be reversed.
Our access to care is in crisis. Our system is under strain. So this is a really important moment. We are looking at things like physician recruitment incentives, right? Like things that will draw people into the territory, return of service agreements that would potentially have them put down roots and stay here.
Bryant says these solutions have worked in other jurisdictions and could work in the Yukon. Yukon Premier Mike Pemberton was not available for comment. Yukoners made their final case for or against the relicensing of the Whitehorse Dam today. The Yukon Water Board's hearing into the matter has now concluded, and some residents might have to wait a while before they can have a say again. Yukon Energy wants to relicense the decades-old dam for 20 years. People heard impassioned speeches about the plan. Harold Gattensby spoke at the hearing, mainly on the loss linked to the dam. He says it's led to fewer animals like muskrats and keystone species like the Chinook salmon. Gattensby referred to the Whitehorse hydroelectric dam as the largest factory of the north. He says the facility has impacted the entire Yukon River watershed since the 1950s, when the dam went in.
Are you kidding me? You're taking our lifestyle away. We're losing the way we want to live. I want to live by the lake. I was raised up on the lake. I raised my children up on the lake. I know where the fish are, the moose are. I know where to go camping. I know that lake. I know where the shallow water is, the deep water. I know where the fish are spawning. I don't want to let that go. There's no compensation to take that lifestyle away. The word compensation is insulting.
Now the Yukon Water Board members will determine whether to issue a license to Yukon Energy. They'll use feedback from the hearing to inform their decision, as well as research compiled over the last 3 years. The government of Nunavut says it's working on a cleanup plan after what appears to be an oil spill near Arctic Bay. Photos posted to Facebook show what appears to be oil on the ground. It looks like it spilled from old barrels and equipment from the Nanisivik mine. The mine is near the community of Arctic Bay. The government of Nunavut says it's working to determine the extent of the contamination. After an initial assessment, it says the Department of Environment will assess the site further from July 14th to 26th. Once that's done, officials will develop a plan to clean the site. The GN says right now it doesn't know how long the cleanup will take. The Nanisivik mine closed in 2002. The past couple of wildfire seasons have been particularly devastating for many Canadians. Experts say that climate change is making wildfires more intense and the seasons longer. It can be a stressful situation, including for kids and youth. A new program in the Yukon aims to alleviate some of that stress with information. Yukon Wildland Fire Management and Yukon Public Libraries worked together to create a collection of books on wildfires. I spoke earlier to Haley Ritchie about that collection. Haley, thanks for being here with me today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So can you start by telling me about the program and how it all came about?
Absolutely. Yeah. So last year, Wildland Fire met with the Yukon Public Library. We know that after the evacuation in Yellowknife and other big fires we've seen around the country, a lot of people, and including a lot of families and kids, are feeling anxious about wildfire. It's a complex topic. There's a lot to learn. And we know that a lot of people obviously go to their local library to learn more about all kinds of topics. So what we wanted to do was identify a list of books about wildfires that the library could get, and that could be a really useful tool for adults, teenagers, kids to learn about wildfires.
Yeah, how did you decide which books to feature in this collection?
Yeah, we did a little research. Fortunately, across North America, people are talking more and more about wildfires. And so there's a lot of great titles out there for all age ranges. So we did a little bit of research, and there's some great picture books out there. Some are about the role of wildland firefighters, and some are about fire ecology and how forest fires affect the forest and the natural world. So a huge range of books, and we came up with a short list and were able to order some for the library.
Do you have a favorite in all of your research that you've come across?
There were so many good ones. Really hard to pick a favorite. Two that I really liked are beautiful picture books. So one is called They Hold the Line. That's by Dan Paley, and it's a really detailed but also beautiful look at wildland firefighters and the work they do and how it's a little bit different than other types of firefighters. Another great one is We Will Live in This Forest Again. So that's a story told by the perspective of a deer who loses her home in a forest fire. And it's all about fire ecology and resilience and how we all support one another when there's a wildfire on the horizon.
I'm wondering what you think about books specifically as a way to communicate this kind of information to kids and young people. Why is this a good medium for that?
I'm a huge library fan. I always have been. Big fan of books. They are just a really good tool for kids. So we know a lot of families are feeling really anxious whether or not there's a fire close to your community. Every summer in the Yukon and across the north, we're dealing with smoke and we're talking a lot about fires. So it's really amazing to have books as tools. Some of these books are really beautiful and also really educational. And it's a nice way, it's a nice age-appropriate way to introduce the topic to kids, to learn a lot about firefighting and fire ecology, which interests a lot of kids, in a way that can also help, I think, bridge and manage that anxiety. These are complex topics, so I think it's really nice for everybody to have a more approachable way to learn more about fire.
For sure, and just the way that you had phrased the story about the deer coming back to their home, you know, that's a little bit more accessible for kids. It paints a little bit of a picture and tells a story as opposed to just having information thrown at you. And with that, I'm wondering how people have responded to this program so far.
Yeah, so far, we shared some of the new titles that are available on social media yesterday and got some great feedback. I think people are excited to have these kind of resources. And I'm really glad that Yukon Libraries has been such an awesome partner for us at Wildland Fire. We've got some pretty cool displays that have gone up at the library, so many interesting books to read, and it's great that word's getting out about them.
And just quickly before I let you go, Haley, do you mind giving us a fire outlook for the Yukon just for this upcoming weekend, since we're talking about fires anyways?
Absolutely. So the past few weeks, we've really seen fire season become very busy in the Yukon. The last couple of days, we've seen a bit of a downtrend. So a lot of the fires we're most worried about have been quieter the past few days, but they're not going away. And it looks like towards the end of this weekend, we may see a return to hot and dry weather. So that downturn has allowed a lot of great work to happen on these fires. But we're still keeping an eye on them. We're actively working on them. It's dry out there. These are big fires. And when hot and dry weather continues, we'll see more activity on them.
Okay, Haley, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Megan.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says he'll meet with his cabinet on Tuesday to discuss ongoing trade negotiations with the U.S. It comes after Donald Trump's latest escalation of his tariff war against Canada. Trump is threatening to impose 35% levies on some goods imported from Canada starting on August 1st. Evan Dyer has reaction from Ottawa.
I think it was fairly well received, but it's what we need.
Of course, Trump's letter was not welcome to the Canadian government, which had been aiming to reach a grand bargain on trade with the Trump administration by July 21st, 2 weeks from now.
The Americans were probably looking for Canada to put more things on the table to trade with, and we're probably getting frustrated as the deadline came up.
The government of Canada responded to the latest attack with defiance.
We're trying to make sure that ultimately, while the U.S. is becoming weaker, we will become stronger and we will diversify and turn ourselves towards Europe.
Traveling in Asia, the U.S. Secretary of State said Trump intends to give every country a baseline tariff for trade with the U.S.
As the President's made clear, there are opportunities for adjustments based on arrangements that could be made between now and then.
And so they're probably going to be asking Canada for a baseline tariff.
The U.S. appears unlikely to agree to zero tariff trade with Canada, says this trade lawyer.
If Canada wants to hold out to say we'll never agree to any baseline tariff, I just don't think that's going to work. So I try to figure out some number, less than 10 and greater than 0.
But while the new tariffs are unwelcome, they've lost some of their shock and awe effect.
Every time things might not be very strong for the United States at the table, President Trump takes to either Truth Social or in this case adds a letter talking about tariff escalations.
One former Trump White House trade official says Canada should actually be glad to get such a letter.
I actually took it as more of a positive sign that the president specifically sent a letter to Canada, meaning he's focused on that negotiation and he wants to bring it to a head. I do think that we are likely to see a deal before August 1st. I am hopeful.
The dollar effect of these latest tariffs, if they go ahead, isn't fully clear. If they exempt goods that are compliant with the current CUSMA trade deal, the effect could be fairly limited. But as is so often the case, no one knows exactly what the White House is planning, and that seems to include the White House itself. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
Yellowknife's Islamic community came together this afternoon to mark the death of a beloved community member. Fadil Mehmedi was a co-owner of Javaroma Cafe. He was an avid outdoorsman and a pillar of the local Islamic community. He's being remembered for his care for the community and the support he provided for others.
When you see Fadil, always you smile, and you always think of positivity, and always think strong, because he was a strong person. He loved outdoors, he loved his people, and he loved to be with people. He loved to meet new people. He loved to help people.
Mehmedi died of cancer, a disease he battled for 20 years.
This astonishing world, with its infinite possibilities, calls to the world shapers, impact makers, visioneers. Together, let's unlock potential everywhere.
Welcome to your new home.
Mais il est trop chaud. He understands French. I'm not seeing this as a suicide.
Someone sure wanted us to think it was.
Gallagher is suspect number one.
Tell me, was it the mad politics you didn't like, or the fact that he's living with your wife?
I know he's into something. I just got to prove it.
No, we all have a past. Find his.
Be careful around Fitz. Donnie's got a lot of demons that tend to appear when no one expects it.
New year, new school, new uniform. High school was a chance at reinvention, a whole new me. Who to join? Jocks? Nerds? This was life or death.
Take a risk. Life's short. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Just live your own.
Sometimes you find yourself in the right place at the right time. And if you're there with the right people, well, it doesn't get any better than that.
I brought a few friends along with me today.
3, 2, 1.
Mom, you're embarrassing me in front of the dragons.
Take me home, James.
Full of surprises here on The Den. Dragon's Den. Watch free on CBC Gem. 12 of Britain's best amateur bakers have made it to the tent.
This is an absolute dream.
Every inch of their baking skill will be scrutinised.
Lovely jubbly.
Those that falter will leave the tent.
One wrong move and it's over.
You want a game? Bring it on.
Go, go, go!
Oh my God! We need help out there.
Yeah, we'll come for you.
This is it! Canada's ultimate challenge.
In Whitehorse, those pesky parking tickets just got more annoying. For the first time in almost 2 decades, the city has increased the fees. And the move isn't sitting well with some business owners. George Moratis reports.
Doing this just got more expensive. The city of Whitehorse has increased parking fees. The change came into effect July 1st.
I've been away for a while, and then I've come back, and I've come back to more expensive parking meter prices, but that's all right, I guess. It just sort of feels like the way that the world is going right now. Everything's on the rise, inflation, things like that. Things cost more money, and so I guess I'm kind of just used to it. But it is, yeah, it's different. I guess you just gotta carry more change around.
It now costs 50 cents to park for 15 minutes. That's double what it used to be. It's the first increase to parking in 18 years. Despite that, the move isn't sitting well with some downtown business owners.
Well, clearly not a fan of it. Nobody came to us as a business to speak about it. I get that the city of Whitehorse needs to move traffic downtown. I mean, that's a benefit to all of us as businesses. But at the price they're doing, I think it's a bit much. I think it doesn't help us. Everything's expensive today, and it's one more. And in my opinion, it's a bit of a tax grab from the city. Everybody's great at spending money, but nobody's good at saving it. And I'm sure the city can do better. Power's up another 10%. Where does it stop? Nobody's getting rich on Main Street.
It's a huge increase. Yeah, I think it's too much at once. And I don't think they've taken into consideration the people that work downtown and work at these businesses. You know, if you're making $20 an hour and then you're paying $2 an hour for parking, it's prohibitive.
And while there are free parking options in other parts of the downtown, Willett says that doesn't work for everyone.
You know, for some people too, it's like if you have to park quite a ways away and say you're working nights and you've left your car there, then you have to walk back to it. I mean, a lot of girls are nervous about that. And, you know, there's a lot of drug use in the downtown core now. And, yeah, they don't feel safe. I've heard that from people. They don't feel safe having to walk that distance to a dark spot where their car is. So that's a consideration as well.
It's not just fees that have increased. Fines are up too, jumping from $20 to $40 per violation. George Moratis, CBC News, Whitehorse.
Scientists have discovered ancient organic material in Nunavut. This type is the oldest ever found, and it could be a major step forward in understanding the past. Avery Zingle has more.
Ancient proteins discovered in a rhinoceros tooth in Nunavut are some of the oldest that have been found to date. That's according to a recent study published this week in the scientific journal Nature. Unlike ancient DNA, which can survive for roughly 1 million years, proteins can survive for extended periods of time under the right conditions. And scientists say those conditions are found on Devon Island, Nunavut, in the Houghton crater. That's where the sample was collected in 1986. And scientists say it can give us a window into the deep past.
It's very clear that the Arctic is kind of creating a freezer, allowing these proteins in these animals to be preserved over much longer time periods than we would expect. So this really extends our ability to understand evolution back much farther than we previously thought.
The tooth is 21 to 24 million years old. That's 10 times older than any ancient proteins previously thought recoverable. Fraser hopes more research will take place on the Houghton crater. She says it will tell us how animals evolved and adapted to a changing climate. Avery Zingle, CBC News, Yellowknife.
The Atland Arts and Music Festival has officially kicked off. Hundreds of Yukoners will flock to the tiny mountain town in BC, which is about 2 hours south of Whitehorse. They'll take in 3 days of music and art. Gabrielle Plonka takes us there.
My full name's James Lamberton, and I'm an Atland resident. People are happy to see it back. It's great for the businesses in town. And I think it's a positive attitude that people like to see it back again.
We'll also have the Globe Theatre open this weekend, which is amazing because it's an iconic venue, and you'll be able to see lots of the artists over there as well. Then we have a great kids zone. We actually are going to have mini ponies at the kids zone on Saturday and maybe Sunday too. We have a lot of art workshops going on, visual arts workshops. So you can find that schedule online. There's like bent wood box making, there's embroidery, there's beading, there's loads of things going on. You just sign up at the site. And yeah, lots of local vendors here too, selling some of their work. And we have got a lot of great food venues too, food vendors. So yeah, we got a lot going on. We'll be busy all weekend.
Just getting out and seeing people that I haven't seen for some time. I wander around through the different kiosks, and I'm not a big music fan, so I don't spend an awful lot of time listening to the music, but I really enjoy the festival and the family atmosphere that's around town most of the time.
So Atland's always been an arts and music festival, so we always really like to showcase the visual art side as well as the performance art side. So we have a lot of great local and out-of-town artists who are coming to do workshops, and people love to be able to take in some music and then also learn something new about visual arts, whichever type they're trying. And yeah, we love to showcase both of those at our festival.
Just getting out and visiting with people I haven't seen for some time from the neighboring communities, Whitehorse, and I've spent a lot of time in the Yukon. I came up here years ago, so I'm looking to visit with old friends.
But yeah, we can expect a really crazy, fun weekend. Yeah.
And that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/north. Thank you for watching. We leave you tonight with images from the Great Northern Arts Festival in Inuvik, NWT. The annual event draws in artists from all across the north to showcase their skills and share knowledge. This year's theme is Tales of the Taiga, storytelling from the boreal forest. I'm Megan Roberts. Have a great weekend.
So here we're going to